in the internet, apparently, especially if you are in your 20s, you're gonna be dealing with a lot of toxic videos and toxic creators out there, and toxic commentators, and toxic people that just have unrealistic expectations from others, or from themselves, or from the public in general. Now, we see these things a lot, especially for the past like 4 years since the flu, and it got me thinking, because I was a victim of that too. I was 20 at that time. It got me thinking, like, what are these people actually providing to people, to others, in order to motivate them and make them become better? Especially since their targeted audience is men or guys, just males in general. And it really got me thinking for this whole period since I have dealt with it until at least I just grew out of it basically, is why do these creators try to brainwash everyone into believing that their way of living should be the complete standard and the absolute standard for anybody else. And if you are anything under that, you're just doing something wrong. And they completely ignore the facts that many people have, as I said in my first ever video, have different circumstances, different lives, they grew up differently, and so on. There are many factors that will determine your future. Many. Including what you are doing right now for your future, including the way you think, the way you behave, the way you see people, the way you see friendships, relationships, business, this and that. Nonetheless, these kind of people are just making it an absolute, like, toxic, or in an absolutely toxic way, and making people believe that if you are not living at a specific standard, you're just doing something completely wrong. And of course, it has a lot to do with brainwashing, mass brainwashing. It's crazy. Because for me, I mean, when you grow up, you start detecting these things. Again, the more you grow up, the more you start detecting bullshit. And you can see through the bullshit, basically. So you start seeing that they are advocating against mass brainwash, or brainwashing that is being done by the internet on a daily basis, by the social media companies, blah, blah, which is completely right. At the same time, though, they are also mass brainwashing their followers. And they are not giving them a healthy brain and healthy thinking for them to just live normally. Because they do not understand how their talks might affect people. And I know just by me saying these things, you have a lot of names on your head right now and thinking about this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. And more specifically, just to be completely transparent, in a lot of industries. The mental health industry, the business industry, the fitness industry, the whatever industry, what is it? The art industry, music industry, this and that. It's just countless. So you will always find some kind of toxicity in many of the big creators that people are actually looking up to. Mostly kids that, unfortunately, they are still living and they're still developing their brains, which is completely okay. It's just a phase that they're gonna go through, and the more they grow out of it, the more they're gonna start seeing the bullshit out of it and just become better, basically, which is, I mean, we're just humans, we live and we learn, we all make mistakes. What these creators are most definitely ignorant about are, or one specific thing is, how their mindset, or the mindset that they're trying to push, is actually pushing other people not into adapting that mindset. It's pushing them to adapt that if they are not like that, they're failures. If they are not living up to that standard, they're just complete failures. So you go from trying to inspire people to giving them unrealistic expectations about whatsoever topic. And then some of them will most definitely adopt that, and some of them will just think that if it's not like this, then I'm a failure, and they get depressed. And they most definitely strip themselves down from just day-to-day normal life things, building that actually matter, building relationships, learning how to communicate, building friendships, trying to learn the business, not just start it. Starting a business is something, learning is a whole different thing. Being able to communicate with people is something, but being able to actually maintain a correct communication pattern is something hard. That it's a skill that takes years of practice to learn. Being able to maintain friendships, relationships is also a huge skill that with a lot of people going in and out your life, you start learning it and just understanding it more, and you start detecting who is the good ones, the bad one, who's gonna benefit you, who isn't. Because keep in mind that all of us benefit each other one way and another, regardless if it's a relationship, business-ship, partnership, or relationship. So you start detecting these things, but for them, they completely ignore that, and they give the kids, most definitely, especially, a very toxic mindset that they start adopting, and then this translates to their circle, because then the person becomes automatically toxic without, especially the kid becomes automatically toxic and adopts that mindset. And when I say a kid, that doesn't mean you're 12 or 13. You can be 24 and still a child. It all depends on the way you think, the way you see things, the way your eyes and brain connect together to foresee things and to see things in the first place. So they adopt a most definitely toxic mindset, toxic brain, and then they start throwing that to their friend circle, in their schools, in their universities, in their friends group, in their this, in the this, in that, and it just spreads. It's like a worm. It's like a ransomware. It just keeps on spreading. And then if they personally do not get depressed by that mindset, by thinking that they're failures if they do not live up to that standard, they might probably put another person who has no clue about this shit into depression. And that is my problem with all of these, whatever gurus you might call them. I'm not new to this internet thing, but I'm new to this video making thing, so I don't know how to call them, because a lot of names for me are cringe. So all of these advocates for success, for greatness, for good body, for good health, for good money, good familyship, good this, they're all good until they start saying that if you do not live up to that standard, you're wrong. It's like people are, for example, in the fitness industry, the kids, specifically the kids, they are praising early 20 or just early age bodybuilders that are on steroids. And they think that that's the right thing to do. While the grown-ups understand that that thing is just bad. Also, when it comes to money, when you start worshiping someone who's successful, good bro, you're successful, that's nice. That's perfect. You're trying to inspire other people to become successful, that's also good. You say to someone that if they do not live up to that standard and they do not live on a daily basis based on doing this, and 1,000 tasks per day, if you're not doing that, you're just a failure? Come on. It is a way of motivation, because I motivate myself that way too. But there is a limit though. There is a huge limit on when to stop yourself and when not to stop yourself when it comes to becoming productive, becoming creative, becoming able to do multiple things, becoming able to understanding multiple things, and actually implementing those things that you learn into your life for you to benefit from them. It is crazy. And I see a lot of people who are I noticed something. I know a lot of people in their 30s and 40s, and I know some that are close friends of mine that are in between 18 and 22, 23. I've seen the difference. The people above 30, they don't give a shit, because they fully developed out of this toxic internet things. But the people between 18, that friend is gonna be, surprisingly, he has the same birthday as me, so he's gonna be 19 in a month. So let's call it 19, between 19 and the 23 or 25-year-olds are still a little bit falling into that toxic internet behavior. And I am somehow trying to pull them back into reality. Like, bro, because I've been a victim of that too. And I feel like speaking about these things is needed in the internet world, just for other people to see that, well, you don't have to be doing 1 gajillion tasks per day to become something. You know what you can do? What is way better is focusing on one thing and giving it all of your time. Or you can have 3 things happening or going on, but never do them in the same day. Just have your calendar, or if you don't like to write or type, just have it in your brain. Monday to Wednesday, I'm doing this. Daybreak, why not? Friday to it depends on how what are the things, and it depends what's their importance into your life, or the value that they bring into your life. So 3 days this, 3 days that, 2 days that, or one so two and two, or some shit like this. I don't know. One day a week for each, but full focus, full deep focus in whatever you want to do. That's something that's gonna actually make you grow and gonna actually give you things to learn from. This is the only way. But in the internet, it's completely different. You have to be doing gazillion things. Guess what? If you do a gazillion things, you're not gonna end up anywhere. And I am the living proof of that. We'll get into that someday in some video. I don't know. So that is just wrong. And doing it is harmful. It will bring you more harm than it will give you benefits. Unfortunately, I hope or I wish for a perfect world where the human brain can do 10 gazillion tasks per day and succeed in all of them. But keep in mind that people that are born, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s, we are the first ever generation that deals with like 200, 300,000 information per day. You can search anything, and just watching reels and watching YouTube, you can do 10 minutes of watching fitness, 10 minutes of watching science, 10 minutes of watching politics, 10 minutes of watching whatever. And in the span of half an hour or an hour, you have watched 5 different things in about 5 different topics, and you learned 5 different, complete different things. So our brain is developing for that. Of course, 2, 3 generations from now, the kids are just gonna be used to it because they're gonna be born with it, born to know how to do multiple things at once, because the brain is just gonna develop that way. We're humans. We develop anyway, because just 1,000 years ago, or I don't know, 5,000 years ago, the human brain was just waking up, doing one thing, going back. That's it. You wake up, you go hunt, you go sleep. That's it. You eat, go sleep. Eating is just to stay alive. But then in the last 200 years, things have been going up fast and growing fast, that keeping up is crazy. And if you try to keep up, you're gonna end up not doing nothing. And this is something that a friend of mine has told me before, which is if you try to do everything, you're gonna end up doing nothing. And luckily, I noticed it at a very short time. And I'm still young, so I mean, I'm not noticing it when I'm, I don't know, 40 or some shit. It happened at 24 and it stopped at 24, and life is good. And I hope that some 15, 16, 18, 20, especially if you are getting into your 20s, your old dude or girl is gonna hear this, or anything in between, apparently, is gonna hear this and be like, wait, calm down. Let me tell you something. Calm down. Your life is gonna be fine, bro. Or sis, or whatever in between. Your life is gonna be fine. Don't stress it. Pick something. The thing that actually ignites you, pick it and work on it 24/7. And don't let anybody put their standards into your life. Because sometimes people do that to promote themselves and to feel like they are the big guys. And sometimes people do it just to feel superior and to make you feel like you are inferior to them. So no, trust me, nobody cares about you. Nobody who's commenting on your posts, nobody who is telling you you're bad or good. They might care at that specific moment, but day goes by, day goes by. That's it. Life goes on. I mean, they're not gonna be stuck glazing over you every fucking day. They're just gonna move on. So why stress things? Your time will come. And Duke Dennis has said this before. Your time will come. And he's one of the greatest examples of that. Your time will come. And it's just as long as you do things. Because if you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, I don't know. Anyway, it's the same fundamentals. If you plant your seeds, a tree will grow, right? Or whatever you're trying to grow is gonna grow. Of course, if you keep watering it each time. So, that means what? You wanna achieve something? Good. Pick it. Pick what ignites you. And then try to work on it little by little. Don't aim for quick results. The music industry is the greatest example of this fast results, because a lot of artists that, especially if you're listening to rap between 2016 and 2018, they were new, stupidly up, and then stupidly down, and nobody hears from them ever again. Because why? They did not build the base that people are going to see, because you can feel it. You can feel whatever creation there is, if it is authentic or just a quick money grab. And if it is not authentic, people would never relate to you. People would never listen to you. People would never want to. They're gonna just like ride the hype, as they call it, and or ride the wave, and that's it. It dies. It dies. Who cares? Go next. So you really want to build seeds, to build a platform, to build a base on how or on what you're gonna build your whole life, on what your life is gonna grow, on what your future is gonna be based on. And it should start in a healthy way, because if it is toxic, the outcome is gonna absolutely crumble. Most definitely crumble, and I can guarantee you this. Learn from other people's mistakes. Don't live inside your head. Listen to what others tell you, and listen to what of course, it depends on what they're telling you. And if somebody tells you something, think about it this way. Do I want to be like that guy? Nah. So his opinion is shit. If they try to give me like an advice, or advise me into something, or about something that they have never ever done, then their opinion is completely irrelevant. So you need to also be careful about from whom you're taking advices or not. And of course, never blame your parents for the way they think and the way they are trying to make you live, because it's what they were born with, what they have tried, what they have lived. It's an experience. It should be respected. It should be admirable, and just most definitely valued. And move on. Focus on you, and try to find these people who you think you will be learning from, and go there and stay there and try to build friendships and relationships with them. Screw the internet, screw whatever people tell you on the internet, screw whatever is happening, screw this toxic bullshit. And of course, together we can fight against these things, but the human brain, again, it just has, especially the kids' brains, is being wired into becoming toxic and just believing in toxic behavior. That, my reels are crazy. I can tell you that they're crazy toxic, everything. It just makes me laugh. At least I have the brains to know that these things are wrong and I should not do them and I should not act like that. But for many, many, many others, they praise that behavior. That is just wrong. I've been like this. That's why I am in a position to be able to speak about that, because I just outgrown it. So please, please. That's it.